Have you ever wondered why the man who bends over backward to please, who listens patiently, who never says no, often ends up invisible in the eyes of the very women he longs to impress? Why the so-called nice guy, who believes he is doing everything right, finds himself stuck in the shadows, while someone else, often less considerate, wins the affection he craves? It's a bitter truth. Being nice, is not the same as being respected, desired, or truly loved. At first glance, niceness seems like the ultimate currency of relationships. We're told from childhood, be kind, be generous, put others first, and people will value you. But what happens in reality? Many men discover that this path, followed blindly, doesn't lead to admiration. It leads to disappointment. Instead of being seen as strong and attractive, they are perceived as predictable, safe, even forgettable. Why? Because at its core, the nice guy identity is often a mask, a disguise worn to gain approval rather than a genuine expression of strength and authenticity. And masks, no matter how polished, eventually slip. Let's look at this through the lens of history and human nature. Machiavelli, the infamous thinker often associated with cunning and power, wrote about the dynamics of influence centuries ago. His insights weren't about shallow manipulation, but about understanding the raw, unfiltered reality of human behavior. One of his most controversial yet undeniable truths was this: people are drawn to strength, not servitude. Think about that for a moment. In every era, from ancient rulers to modern leaders, it wasn't the man who begged for approval who commanded respect. It was the man who embodied clarity, direction, and courage. The same principle applies in relationships. Women, whether they admit it openly or not, are magnetically pulled toward men who carry a sense of authority over themselves and their lives. This doesn't mean cruelty. It doesn't mean arrogance. It means authentic power, the kind that doesn't come from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. Now, here's the painful twist. Many nice guys aren't actually nice out of true generosity. Their kindness is often a transaction. They believe deep down that if they give enough, please enough, agree enough, eventually they will be rewarded with love, intimacy, or respect. But that's not how desire works. Real attraction isn't earned like points on a scoreboard. It's ignited by polarity, the contrast of masculine presence and feminine energy, the dance of tension, the spark of unpredictability. Imagine a man who never disagrees, who always folds into the will of others, who avoids conflict at any cost. He may feel safe to be around, but does he stir the heart? Does he awaken the deeper instincts of attraction? More often than not, the answer is no. What Machiavelli teaches us, and what psychology confirms, is that human desire is not rational. It thrives on edge, mystery, and strength. And when a man hides behind the armor of niceness, he strips himself of those very qualities. Here's the paradox. The world doesn't need more men pretending to be flawless gentlemen. It needs men who are real. Men who are capable of kindness, yes, but not enslaved by it. Men who can give, but also say no. Men who can listen, but also command. Men who, instead of begging for approval, become the kind of presence that others naturally want to follow. And this is where the transformation begins. The shift from being a nice guy to being a man of depth and power is not about becoming cruel or manipulative. It's about removing the mask. It's about recognizing that true respect and desire are born from authenticity, boundaries, and inner strength, not endless self-sacrifice. So, if you've ever found yourself wondering why your kindness hasn't led to the connection you long for, if you've ever felt invisible while someone else, someone bolder, less hesitant, captured the attention you dreamed of, know this: the problem isn't that you are kind. The problem is that your kindness is being used as a substitute for strength. And strength, whether in love, in leadership, or in life itself, cannot be faked. This is where we begin our journey. By stripping away illusions, confronting the truths Machiavelli hinted at, and embracing the raw, sometimes uncomfortable reality of human nature. Because once you understand this, once you step out from behind the mask of niceness, you unlock not just attraction, but freedom. The second chapter, the silent throne of power. You've been told since childhood that kindness is the golden key. Be agreeable, be polite, don't stir the waters. Yet, as you've already seen in your own life, this very conditioning has chained you to the role of the performer, the one who waits for applause, the one who bends until his spine breaks. But here's the truth. The more you chase validation, the more invisible you become. Think of every moment you've leaned forward on a date, desperate for a sign, asking, "Do you like me? Was that funny? Do you think I'm your type?" On the surface, these seem harmless, but beneath them lies a confession far louder than your words. I don't trust my own value unless you crown me with approval. And the moment you do that, you hand her the throne. Suddenly, you are no longer the man of presence. You are the man of audition. She is the judge, and you are the jester. And here is a law as old as time itself. Judges may watch, they may laugh, they may even applaud, but they do not desire. Machiavelli warned of this centuries ago. Never place your fate in another's hands, because once you beg for approval, you've already surrendered your crown. So, what's the alternative? The answer is not arrogance, not dominance, not cruelty. It is something far quieter and far more dangerous. It is the art of self-validation. Picture this. You tell a story, and instead of waiting anxiously for her laughter, you smile first. You deliver an opinion, and instead of piling explanations on top of it, you let it land. Calm, measured, then followed by silence. She teases you, probes at your ego, and instead of scrambling to defend yourself, you hold your gaze steady, eyes unfazed, and shift the frame back onto her. You see, the man who validates himself doesn't need applause. His presence is the applause. Women feel this instantly. Their bodies react before their minds can label the sensation. That subtle tension, that grounding aura, it awakens something primal. Now, imagine this in real life. You're seated across from her. She tilts her head, smirking. You're a little arrogant, aren't you? The average man panics. He fumbles for reassurance. No, I'm not arrogant. I'm just confident, I swear. Another man bristles, grows defensive, tries to turn the attack back on her. Maybe you're just insecure. Both fail. One bends, the other fights. But you lean back, let a slow grin play at the edges of your mouth. And with a voice that doesn't rush, you say, "Maybe, but I like it when people show me who they really are." In that instant, the entire frame flips. You are no longer being measured. She is. The silent throne returns to you, and with it, her pulse quickens, not from your words, but from the unshakable fact that you never left your ground. This is power, not the noisy kind that shouts and flexes, but the quiet authority that doesn't yield. From this point forward, you must remember, every time you give away your power in the form of questions, apologies, and endless explanations, you become forgettable. But when you hold your frame, when you trust the silence, when you radiate the certainty of a man who doesn't need to be chosen, you stop being background noise. You become the signal. And in her mind, that signal lingers, it unsettles, it intrigues, it sparks a fire that predictability could never touch. Because here lies one of the greatest truths Machiavelli himself understood. Desire is not logical. Desire is primal. And primal desire does not chase the predictable. It does not hunger for the man she can fully map out. Which leads us into the next law of transformation. Unpredictability. The antidote to invisibility. The force that keeps attraction alive. But before we step into that realm, pause for a moment. Ask yourself honestly, how many times in your life have you given away your throne, thinking that approval would bring love, only to discover emptiness? How many times have you surrendered silence when silence was your crown? This is where the transformation begins. Not out there, in her reactions, but here, inside you. In reclaiming the throne you never should have abandoned. The third chapter, the fire of unpredictability and the edge she craves. If there's one thing that kills desire faster than rejection, it's predictability. Most men believe consistency is the ultimate proof of value. They think that sending the same "good morning, beautiful" text every day, replying within 5 minutes, and showering her with constant attention will build trust and keep her close. But here's the paradox. What is guaranteed, what arrives on schedule every time, what never breaks pattern, eventually fades into the background like wallpaper. It becomes invisible. And what is invisible cannot be desired. Desire is not built in the calm. Desire is born in the storm, in that pulse of uncertainty, that question mark lingering in her chest. What will he do next? Where does he stand? Can I map him, or will he surprise me again? Machiavelli understood this in politics, and the same law applies in love. If they can fully predict you, they can fully control you. And what is fully controlled can never be deeply desired. So, what do you do instead? You become unpredictable, not in a chaotic, reckless way, but in a way that sparks her instincts, that keeps her leaning forward, restless, curious. Think of it like music. A song with no change in rhythm, no shifts in tone, becomes dull within minutes. But a song with crescendos, pauses, sudden drops, and unexpected rises, it hooks the listener. It demands their body to move. You must learn to become that song. Instead of texting at the same hour every morning, you shift. One day, silence. The next, a midnight message charged with intrigue. Remind me to tell you what I realized tonight. No explanation, no follow-up, just a seed planted in her mind. Now she's restless, wondering, imagining. Or picture this, she's upset, giving you the silent treatment. Most men crumble in panic. They plead, "What's wrong? Did I do something? Please talk to me." But you let the silence breathe. Hours pass, and then, calm and measured, you say, "If it's important, I know you'll tell me. If not, I trust the quiet." Her world shifts, because in that moment, you show her something rare, that her storms do not shake your ground, that you are not another predictable man scrambling to fix every ripple. This unpredictability isn't about playing games. It's about reclaiming tension, because tension is the oxygen of desire. And here's the second half of the law. Unpredictability is nothing without edge. What do I mean by edge? It's the refusal to erase your sharpness in the name of being liked. Most nice guys smooth themselves down like stones in a river. They avoid conflict. They agree too quickly. They nod along just to keep peace. But peace without power is not attraction. It's pity. A man without edge is like a blade without steel. Harmless, forgettable. Here's what Machiavelli would have told you. It is better to be feared and respected than merely loved and forgotten. A man who erases his edge erases his impact. So, how do you sharpen it again? By speaking truth without apology, by slowing your words instead of rushing to fill every silence, by holding your ground when she pushes against you, not with anger, but with calm weight. Imagine this scene. She challenges your opinion at dinner. The average man laughs nervously, backpedals, and agrees just to keep things smooth. Another man snaps back defensively, raising his voice, trying to win the argument. Both fail. One collapses. The other overcompensates. But you simply lean back, eyes steady, voice unhurried, and say, "I see it differently, that's fine." No need to argue, no need to bend, just quiet defiance. And in that silence, she feels it, the edge, that subtle steel that whispers, "This man does not fold," and here's the magic. It unsettles her. It stirs something primal. Because when she realizes you won't collapse into agreeableness, respect rises. Respect deepens into attraction. And attraction, when mixed with tension, spirals into obsession. You become the man she cannot forget, not because you tried to please her, but because you carried fire where others only carried softness. But let me be clear, edge without warmth becomes cruelty. Unpredictability without grounding becomes chaos. The true art lies in contrast. You are both the anchor and the storm. The one who gives her safety, but also shakes her awake. The one who holds her steady one night, then leaves her restless the next. This shifting rhythm is what keeps her alive in your presence. It is the paradox she cannot resolve. And when she cannot resolve you, she cannot release you. The fourth chapter, the trial of tests and the man who cannot be moved. Every woman, whether she admits it or not, will test you. Not because she wants to hurt you, not because she enjoys conflict, but because her biology demands it. Deep inside, she is wired to seek out the man who can lead when storms rise, the one who will not crumble when pressure mounts. And here's the brutal truth. The nicer you act, the more she will test you. Why? Because she senses fragility. She feels that your confidence hangs on a thread, that the moment she withdraws her smile, your entire sense of worth collapses. And no woman, no matter how kind, can truly desire a man whose strength vanishes under pressure. Machiavelli said it in another way. Weakness revealed under fire is weakness that cannot be forgiven. A ruler who falters when challenged loses his crown. A man who falters when tested loses her respect. And without respect, desire cannot breathe. So, what does this look like in real life? Picture this. She teases you in front of friends, waiting to see if you'll fold. The average man gets defensive, blurting out, "I was just joking. Come on, don't make it a big deal." Another one lashes back, trying too hard to prove dominance, only to look insecure. Both lose. One bends, the other explodes. But you smirk. You let her words land without flinching. You tilt your head, eyes calm, and reply with something subtle that flips the weight back on her. "Interesting. I didn't know you were keeping score." The room shifts. She feels it. Everyone feels it. Not because you fought fire with fire, but because you showed that no spark could burn your frame. Or, imagine this. She grows cold, withdraws her affection, waiting for you to chase her back into warmth. Most men panic. They flood her phone with desperate messages. "Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Please just talk to me." And in that instant, the balance tips. He is the beggar. She is the queen. But you move differently. You don't chase the silence. You continue with your rhythm, steady and grounded, as if her coldness is just weather passing over a mountain. Hours later, you meet her gaze and say calmly, "If it's important, I know you'll tell me. If not, I trust the quiet." And now she is the one unsettled, because you are not dancing to her tune. You are not shaken by her storm. And her body responds in a way her mind cannot explain. Respect deepens, desire sharpens, and curiosity turns into craving. This is the law. A man who does not collapse under pressure becomes unforgettable, and it doesn't stop there. The tests will keep coming, sometimes subtle, sometimes sharp. A jab here, a withdrawal there. And every time she's not really asking, "Did you hear what I said?" She's asking, "Can I trust you to remain who you are even when I push?" If you bend, she loses faith. If you explode, she loses safety. But if you stand, calm, grounded, unshaken, she finds what she was searching for all along. Because here's the truth. Women don't want to lead men they cannot trust. They want to feel a strength deeper than their storms. Think of it like the sea. A ship tossed by waves doesn't need another wave. It needs an anchor. And when you embody that anchor, when you refuse to be moved by provocation, you give her what she cannot find in the men who bend too quickly. But let's go even deeper. Because tests are not only about her, they are about you. Every test is a mirror reflecting the cracks in your own self-belief. Every jab that rattles you exposes where your frame still depends on her reaction. And every silence you panic to fill reveals the throne you still haven't reclaimed. So when she tests you, don't see it as an attack. See it as initiation, a trial, a chance to prove, not to her, but to yourself, that you are no longer the boy begging for approval, but the man who approves of himself. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop fighting her tests, the moment you stop fearing them, they lose their sting. Instead of threats, they become fuel. Each one another chance to demonstrate that you are unshakable. And once she feels that, once she knows in her bones that no silence, no jab, no storm can move you, the dynamic changes forever. Respect rises, trust blooms, and desire, raw and primal, ignites like fire meeting oxygen. This is why the tests matter, not because of what she says, but because of what your presence reveals. And once you embody this presence, you step into a rare category. You become the man she can trust without question, and the man she cannot forget. The fifth chapter, the paradox of freedom, choosing without needing. There is a subtle scent that kills desire faster than anything else. It's not arrogance, it's not cruelty, it's not even rejection. It's neediness. Every woman can smell it. The hidden fear beneath your words, the quiet desperation behind your compliments, the way your actions scream, "Please don't leave me, please choose me, please see me." And once she senses it, the game is already over. Because neediness doesn't inspire attraction, it suffocates it. Machiavelli warned that dependence breeds contempt. A ruler who leans too heavily on his allies eventually loses his crown. In the same way, a man who leans too heavily on a woman, who makes her the source of his validation, his confidence, his entire identity, loses her respect. This is the paradox. The moment you stop needing her, you become the man she cannot stop chasing. Let me show you what this looks like. Most men enter relationships like beggars, offering affection, attention, and endless availability, secretly hoping for one thing in return, her approval. But approval sought is never freely given. It always costs your power. Instead, Imagine stepping into the same room with a different energy. Instead of thinking, "I hope she likes me," you remind yourself, "I like her, but I do not need her. I choose her, but I do not collapse without her." Do you feel the shift? One mindset is chains, the other is freedom. When you embody this freedom, everything changes. You stop rushing to reply to every message as if her silence is a storm that will drown you. You stop bending over backward to prove yourself worthy of her attention. You stop filling every pause with nervous chatter. Instead, you move with calm abundance, like a man whose life is already full, because it is. A man with purpose, direction, and rhythm that no single person can derail. And when she feels that, her body reacts before her mind can explain it. Her curiosity sharpens, her desire deepens. Because deep down, what she wants is not a man who begs for her presence. It's a man whose presence is already undeniable. This is the secret. Women don't crave the man who needs them. They crave the man who chooses them. Think of it like a throne. The needy man abdicates his throne the moment he steps into her orbit. He places his crown at her feet and whispers, "Rule me. I will do anything to be chosen." But the man of freedom does something far different. He never gives up his throne. He simply extends his hand and says, "I see you. I want you. But I am already whole without you." That energy changes everything, because now she is not the judge, she is the applicant. She is the one leaning in, trying to earn a place in the world you already rule. And here's the irony. Once you stop chasing her validation, she starts chasing yours. It's not manipulation, it's not a trick. It's the natural order of attraction. Because the masculine energy of freedom is magnetic, it pulls the feminine toward it with a force that cannot be faked. But let's ground this in a story. Picture a man who spends weeks trying to impress a woman. He texts constantly, compliments endlessly, rearranges his life just to be available. At first, she smiles politely, but over time, she grows distant. His eagerness becomes heavy, his presence suffocating. And finally, she slips away, leaving him confused, broken, asking, "What did I do wrong? I gave her everything." Now imagine a different man. He meets her, and yes, he shows interest, but he doesn't orbit her world. He remains the sun in his own. His texts are not constant, but when they arrive, they carry weight. His time is not desperate to be filled with her presence. It is already full with his mission, his purpose, his discipline. And when she steps into his space, she feels it. She is not being begged for. She is being invited into something rare. Which man does she remember? Which man keeps her restless at night, scrolling through his words, wondering what he's thinking, craving another moment in his presence? It's always the second. And here's the lesson. Freedom creates gravity. Neediness repels. So, before every encounter, before every word, remind yourself of this law. I want her, but I do not need her. I choose her, but I am already complete without her. That single shift rewires the entire dynamic. And once you master it, you stop being the man who chases. You become the man who attracts. And that is when the final transformation begins. Not in how you speak, not in how you act, but in how you carry the one thing she cannot resist: embodied confidence. The 6th chapter, the aura of embodied confidence. Attraction is not built on clever lines, perfect looks, or even flawless behavior. Those things fade, shift, or get forgotten. What never fades is aura. That silent energy a man carries when he walks into a room. The gravity that makes others turn their heads, even before he speaks. The unspoken presence that makes her body react before her mind can explain why. This is the final law, the deepest shift. The transformation that changes not just how women see you, but how the world responds to you. You stop performing confidence, and you begin embodying it. Here's the difference. The nice guy tries to prove confidence. He tells long stories. He cracks jokes hoping for approval. He overcompensates with flashy gestures, trying to paint over the cracks in his self-belief. But true confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It doesn't beg. It simply exists. Imagine a man who moves slower than the room, his breathing steady, his shoulders relaxed, his gaze unhurried. He doesn't scramble to fill silence. He lets silence stretch, knowing that tension is his ally, not his enemy. When he speaks, he doesn't flood the air with words. He cuts his sentences in half, letting each one land like a stone dropped into still water. His voice carries not because of volume, but because of weight. And when his eyes meet hers, he doesn't look away the moment it gets uncomfortable. He stays, calm, present, grounded, until she feels the heat rising in her chest, the pulse in her neck quickening, not because of what he said, but because of what he is. This is the man she remembers. This is the man she cannot release. Machiavelli once said that appearances can deceive, but presence never lies. A true leader doesn't need to announce his authority. People feel it. The same law rules attraction. A woman doesn't fall for your resume. She falls for the way her body responds in your presence. And here's the key. That presence cannot be faked. It must be forged. Forged in discipline, the kind that sharpens your body and your mind. Forged in silence, the kind that teaches you patience instead of panic. Forged in self-respect, the kind that refuses to trade your throne for crumbs of validation. Every trial, every test, every silence you've faced has been building to this moment. Because once you embody confidence, everything else falls into place. You no longer need to chase, to beg, to explain, to overperform. You simply are. And in that being, attraction flows like gravity. Now, let's step back for a moment. Look at the man you once were, the boy who believed niceness alone would win hearts, who bent until he broke, who begged for validation only to be forgotten. That version of you wasn't evil. He wasn't weak. He was simply misled, conditioned by lies. But today, you've seen the truth. You've seen that desire is born not from endless giving, but from presence. That women do not crave the man who bends, but the man who holds his throne. That unpredictability, edge, and silence are not enemies, but weapons. That tests are not attacks, but initiations. That freedom, not need, creates gravity. And that true confidence is not noise, but stillness. You are no longer the man who waits to be chosen. You are the man who chooses. From this moment forward, you carry a crown that cannot be taken, because it rests not on her approval, but on your own. You don't walk into rooms to be accepted. You walk into rooms and set the terms of acceptance. You don't beg for validation. You radiate it. You don't chase. You attract. You don't bend. You lead. This is the edge most men avoid their entire lives. The edge that frightens the weak but fascinates the strong. The edge that makes her body react before her mind has a chance to resist. So, carry it. Guard it. Live it. Because from now on, you are no longer just another man in the crowd. You are the man she feels before she understands why. The man she remembers long after the moment has passed. The man who does not play by the rules of approval, but writes his own. This is your transformation. This is your crown. This is your throne.